Hey, hi, fellow old farts. I'm back. I'm sorry it's been such a long time. I've actually got some chatter from you about, hey, why are you, what happened to this show? And unfortunately, I had to take a 2 month hiatus this year. I normally take for the anybody watching this new, I normally take a month hiatus because I have to portray the mythological creature from the North Pole, and so that was what I did this year. So, I have to tell you, if you haven't followed personal, my personal Facebook page to see some of the very entertaining photographs from this past Christmas season, I encourage you to become friends and do that because I did have a very entertaining Christmas season, and I documented it pretty well, including a ride in the Metropolitan Police Department's helicopters here, a ride in the North Las Vegas Fire Department fire engine. I got to greet about 400 kids is sitting in front of an Air Force MQ-9 Reaper drone and at Creech Air Force Base. And so I have to tell you, it's been a varied season, including a few nightclub appearances here where Santa had to judge the contest of the Miss Naughty Santas. It was a terrible hard work that I had to do. I'm sure you all will commiserate. So thank you all. I have one immediate guest that you're going to say hello to here, and he's one of my neighbors. And we're on today, especially because we're going to turn this show into a major announcement in the drone world, in the dronosphere, in the old farts with drones, in the nations of drones, in the having fun with drones. We're going to turn this into hopefully a good size announcement. So without any more drum rolls, I'm going to introduce my in-studio guest. First one is Tom Dowling.
Hello, everyone. First, welcome back, Bob. I'm glad Santa's tucked away nicely. Okay.
It's in the garage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But Bob's prepping for his March series coming up soon, which we'll all be privy to.
The hat's right there.
There we go. Bob is also the leprechaun of the Las Vegas Valley. But it's great to be here, Bob. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
And as Bob said, we have a pretty big announcement today. So
yeah,
I'm very excited.
We're in my home studio here, which has just recently gotten an excavation over the last about 10-12 days here, and it's almost complete, but it's I had to get organized. I had to get more I got to the point where I know I have stuff that I can't find. I'm sure other people get to that point.
Yeah.
I don't know. So at this moment, I almost know where everything is at, so that's what's going on. So I also want to bring in another guest. Okay. Today, joining me and Tom is a guy who I've been kind of following along on my Facebook group on the Old Farts Show, on the Old Farts Facebook channel. And, I just really liked what he was doing, and it looked extremely professional. And I reached out. We've started a few conversations, and I'm really happy to announce that Jeff Norman is now going to also join us as a moderator of Old Farts with Drones on the Facebook group. And I'm sure he's going to be a tremendous help to, help keep this group become just a wonderful, wonderful, place to be. Jeff?
Welcome, Jeff.
How you doing, guys? I heard that there was a live guest on the show, but it wasn't me, so I'm just checking my pulse to make sure that I'm also alive. Seems to be okay.
Jeff's also alive. Jeff is truly alive and well, and another thriving old fart. And we're thrilled to have him. And Jeff, give us, as a first-time guest on this show, the routine here is I want you to go back to about when you're 19 years old, all right? And I want you to give us the 3-minute history of Jeff Norman.
Bob, we're old farts. That could take several shows.
Okay. I said 3 minutes.
Oh, okay, good.
I want a 3-minute version.
What I learned through my career is be anything except boring. So actually, I'm going to go back to 7 years old. My father was an immigrant from Hungary, and his thrills were traveling and cameras. And he was a Leica and a Leica Flex guy, and I have some of his stuff still. But when I was about 7, he put a camera in my hand, a Zeiss Icon Contaflex 4, which had a lens you couldn't take off. But it was a pretty solid camera, and the Zeiss lenses, as you know, are pretty solid. And I started shooting pictures. Then I had to pay for the developing, and it took a while to get through that. I became a very prolific photographer when I was in high school. In fact, I sold my first book cover when I was 17. And I was the most prolific photographer in Cardozo High School in Bayside and in Hofstra University when I was there. And as a matter of fact, here's a non-paid book cover, but
good.
Hofstra University.
Yay.
Next is E01. That's my picture, yes, because I could.
How cool.
How
great.
So I shot pictures, weddings, bar mitzvahs, sweet 16s,
no wonder
whatever.
You do great drone photos, huh?
And then
translates.
Having that photography background really makes a difference.
Absolutely.
Being able to share that with others.
Right. All sorts of things. I've done a little real estate, a lot of product photography, a ton of sports. And then around the year 2001, I started doing video. So I've had a business, as you can see here, normanmedia.com. I've done photography and videos. And I guess in 2015, I got my first drone, which I think is the same as Candano, a Parrot Bebop. Didn't have much of a gimbal. It had electronic stabilization. But I started with that and got really heavily into it a few years after. And I've been a professional for, I don't know, 4 years at least, as far as 107. And here I am, and I'm happy to share what I know. I like to help people whenever I can. I am from New York, so don't screw with me. So
you can say, we're not monetized yet.
That's fine.
But being from New York, I have to curb my my
language.
Vocabulary.
Your vocabulary, yes. I do think we can. I don't know. We can be PG. Maybe PG-19.
We'll do our best.
Since we're old.
We don't want to shock any of the youngins.
No, but we know how to talk and make sense.
Yes. So anyway. My main business is IT. My secondary business is photography and videos. In fact, I just delivered a field that's being redone for a youth organization. I have been doing progressive photos of their getting rid of the old dirt field and putting in the underlying excavation and setting it up. I think we're 5/6 done with that at this point, and hopefully
Liability photos. Yes, I understand.
mostly it's progression photos, just so they can show, they can pat themselves on the back and say how well they've done for the kids. And it does have it, it does have some advantages. They can get more days of use out of a well-drained field rather than a typical old grass field made on crappy clay.
Yeah, it's I'm glad to see that happen in so many places, kind of thing.
It's great what we can accomplish with this additional avenue of photography. And videography.
Much,
really
it would not have been practical if we had to do that from a helicopter.
Well, not for us at least. Okay.
Or trying to rely on satellite data for that, it just wouldn't work, So anyhow, so Jeff, how did you find Old Farts?
I found Old Farts because at the South Florida drone meetup, I went last year, and I brought my wife's uncle, and immediately he's started flying at 80 years old. I introduced him to drones, and we saw your booth there, and we bought some Old Fart stuff. And then after, I hadn't heard of it till last April.
Wow. Okay.
And after I did, I started following you, and I find that you're a very nice, as a lot of people are in this industry, very nice, sincere person. You are a giving person, and you want to share your knowledge, and you want to entertain people. And then, if you make a few dollars on the side, great, because all of the time and effort and money it costs you to do this stuff.
Oh yeah.
But
exactly.
I appreciate that, and that's the reason why I'm glad to share what I know and help people along and take another half step towards their journey of fulfilling themselves and sharing that with other people.
It's
bravo.
It's such a it's such an inviting group. Similar story to mine. When I wound up here in Vegas, Bob and I crossed paths pretty early on. I've been here for, it was 2 years this past November, and just the crowd in the Old Farts community, and Old Farts is, like Bob always say, a frame of mind, not actually tied to age, but very welcoming, very sharing, and we don't have the level of negativity, unfortunately, that's too prevalent in that social media environment. So really enjoy it. And again, glad you're coming on as an admin. They can definitely use the help.
I'm happy to. I've approved a bunch of people today and told a bunch of people, fill out the questions, please. They're not hard. They're not that hard. Fill them out. So
no, it's not hard.
It's not hard.
I will forward you here sometime later here today a paragraph that I use to say, listen, you missed the questions, please answer the questions, and it'll automatically approve you,
Right.
In case anybody's watching that's not a member, all you have to do is answer all the questions. There's no wrong answers, okay? You just have to answer them all, and you're approved. That's all there is to it, okay?
Are you now, or have you ever been a member of the Hubson Users Group? It doesn't matter what you say.
We welcome everyone. I mean, I'm sure I have probably, the group grew from Christmas to today. I think somewhere like 680 members.
Wow.
In, from it just, we will probably turn over tomorrow 17,000 members.
Wow. And I know how hard that is, because I have I created the second largest Mini 3 Pro group. I have 36,000 members, and it took quite a while to get there. And just so you know, success in one doesn't mean another, because I started the original Mini Pro 4 user group, and we have like 600 people in that. So
Yeah.
it is not easy, just to keep the group.
You understand
Yes.
what it takes here,
Right. Yes.
So, and I'm sure, and I have to tell you, I'm looking at the audience. We haven't recognized anybody in the audience here yet, but Steve Anderson, Brian, Waypoints New England, Captain Joe America with his Santa ornament. He won from me on my last show I did before the restart here, and the Tom Dowling is in the chat. Hey,
not that I can answer his back, but
yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah,
the
I'm
screen's
having
a little too far away.
Yes,
but,
and and of course Warren was the first one in the chat. I get, he. I think as soon as I posted the show that he was there. Warren, I'm gonna not give up trying to get you on the show. Okay, Warren, I have tried. I was the first one to get Alan Drone views on any show at all. He because I bugged him for months to do it. And I'm going to get you on the show, Warren. Okay, I promise. Okay. And Jim Beauchart is here. We always love the Beauchart. And Jim, you're gonna be really interested in this announcement. Tom and I.
He knows.
He knows.
He knows.
Oh shit! All right.
He knows.
And Chuck Galinsky,
Jazz is here.
I have been remiss in not thanking you for the beautiful holiday card we received. Me and Audrey were open up cards, and I need to thank you. It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Michael Blades, yay! We're gonna see each other soon. I'm sure that's gonna work somehow. And Alex Escardo, we are working hard to see if we can have a little pre-Florida anniversary trip to and from your neck of the woods here. So we maybe get to go out and video some cruise ships together. What I'm looking for here. And Bill Thomas is here. Hi, Bill. Thank you. And the absolute crazy guy, Bill Thomas. It was the most confusing show, and I loved being on it. Okay, that was so good. And Captain Ray Kelly's here. Hey, Captain.
We got John from Flying Flynn is
here. Yeah.
Oh, and Vic.
Yeah,
hey, Vic. Vic Moss is here.
Hi, Vic. All right, the dogs are going crazy.
Oh, Dre's here.
Yeah.
So I'll talk to Jeff a little while you.
Okay, I'll go get the door and let the door.
As you can see, Bob has a very extensive alarm system here. Okay, he has Poe and Maya. That you can't hear the doorbell here because you hear the dogs before the doorbell. But we do have a great cast of characters here. Vegas Aerial Services. We have. I did see New England. Where is New England? I did see. I'm sorry. I'm searching on a phone here. But it's a great group of people for a noontime show. That's pretty cool.
Well, it's noon there, but it's 3 p.m. here, but it's still during the workday. This is much easier for people in Europe, I think.
I had to set a do not disturb on my phone because my buddies from the job, I'd get a call at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. Hey, Tom, how you doing? How's everything? Where'd you wind up? And I go, Vegas. And then they go, oh, sorry for waking you up. Okay, so it took a little while to get used to, but it's working out now. So Bob is
answering the door, making sure it's not a killer or something.
Answering the door and then going through the vetting process with the pooches there. So I had to basically get approval from both of them before I could completely enter. But Oh, and looks like you have another special
Go to
guest
the-
here.
Green chair.
Oh, I get the special
You
chair.
get the green chair.
Look at that. It's all
Kenny.
What's up, buddy? How are you, man?
What's up, man?
How
How
are
you
you?
doing, Ken?
So let's see. Can we move this back and get all three
Oh,
of
you
us
guys
on?
are streaming from the Pocket 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure this out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. This
Paul and
place,
Maya have
this
to be
place
in
is a
here.
fucking palace, Bob. This is how the other half of the world lives.
Yeah, hey, I tell you, you know,
It's like the White House of Nevada over there.
I know. Very impressed. Very impressed. Okay.
So thank you all, everybody. I'm thrilled to welcome Ken Dono to our show here.
This is the fart quarters.
This is it. This is the man cave here. This is the Bob cave here, the old fart cave.
The Old Fart Studio. Okay, Vegas
So-
edition.
Good. So what do you think? What'd you think of the show?
I mean, there's nothing happening for drones at all. I
No.
went to the
Yeah.
hall. I went to the hall where they said there was drone stuff. They
Yeah.
have like a couple of mapping companies, but there's not a single manufacturer present. There's no manufacturers there. So sort of disappointing because like just 3 years ago, at least we were seeing a few. There'd be one or two, or last year there was just Alltel, not even Alltel there. So
You know, my
weird.
my feeling is, look, it's a consumer electronics show.
Yeah, it's consumer
And
electronics.
unfortunately, with the negativity that's out there, the xenophobia that's out there right now, what we have here is Blue UAS, and Blue UAS is not geared towards the consumer.
Well, that's the problem. It's not
unfortunately,
geared to
right?
the photographer. It's
Right.
not geared to the cinematographer. You have options from Sony, but the problem is those options don't appeal to the average Joe that just wants to get a camera, be able to go out, take some photos that aren't super professional or we'll say cinema grade. It just doesn't exist, which is really disheartening because we got to this point that we are right now because of all the hype that was generated from the consumer world when the Phantoms were first launched back in 2014, 2015.
Yeah, I had my hands on one of my first at 2011.
So
I have
it's a weird show. It's a
2016
weird
one
show.
sitting over here. Yeah.
I've taken time to slow down and see other things because there's not drones. So I mean, I've partake in every single massage chair that I've seen this show. I mean,
hey, it's nice.
I mean, you basically it'll massage every part of you and then some. So I'm pretty sure the last one I sat in, I had a happy ending. I'm not 100% sure. They did give me a wet nap.
You didn't buy you didn't buy into that underwater scooter?
No, I'm not. I'm not into the underwater robotics. It's so hard to control those, and then you need the perfect storm of conditions. Like when I was
clear, it's got to,
when I was in Seattle, it worked fine.
Yeah,
Seattle.
And the problem that we encountered, because we had incorporated some marine drones in the department, and the biggest problem there was, the waterways in New York are so fast and moving that you can't see a damn thing.
Oh.
You can see maybe 8 to 10 inches in front of you, and so that's hard. But I mean, if you're looking for the biggest flat screen TV, CES is where to be.
CES. If you want to see the latest, technology when it comes to entertainment, it's there. The other thing that's really big this year is the virtual reality, like the spatial computing, the metaverse. Like
the metaverse.
There's a lot of this 3D sort of stuff, and it's cool.
Yeah,
but it's like it's not, to me. It's not a need. I don't need to be a part of any of it. But,
but I was impressed
and
with those TVs.
Right.
The TVs were pretty cool.
We looked at some
transparent TVs,
some transparent LED TVs, and we also looked at some of this Q micro LED.
Yeah, we looked at SK's micro LEDs, which are pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty
really cool. I mean, they were. I mean, it was much more. It felt different than a huge step different than what I felt before looking at like a 85-inch TV.
Right.
What
about on the 3D printing side? With
so I was over there.
A lot of consumer.
I was over there today.
Interest.
Bamboo wasn't there. Bamboo wasn't there, which is fine because they're the 800-pound gorilla in the room.
They're the DJI of
so they don't
3D
have
printing.
to. They don't have to show up these conventions. Creality was there. Clinico was there. There was a couple Form Labs, which they're more industrial.
Right.
So there was a couple of them there that, you know, I got a chance to talk to and see what their new products were. So 3D printing wise, there's a lot there. There's a lot. So I think my focus for the future, when I go to CES, my expectation will be is I'm just going to go for the 3D printing stuff, which isn't quite as much. I think going to a more targeted, you know, convention for 3D printing would probably be better. But
yeah.
Hey, Ken and Bob, what about the photography end? I know with the Olympics coming up, all of the manufacturers wanted to make a splash with either
NAB.
You know,
NAB is where you'll find your photography.
I don't know. We looked at Canon and we breezed through Nikon, but we spent more time at Canon. But
there wasn't really
anything
Jeff.
Really new.
Not even Sony. And
that's
really
so surprising too.
But they don't need to. NAB,
Photo Expo, NAB, that's really the venue.
NAB is where you'll find like the very targeted, even for drones. I think like if you're interested in drones, you need to register. You need to go to NAB. I'm going to come back out for NAB because I think that for me, as a creative, I found a lot more use or interest in that event.
Well, and DJI has a big presence at NAB.
And we're so close. We're so close to Hollywood. That's going to be a much bigger draw.
For people that don't know what it is, the idea of Sony coming out with what's called a global shutter. Ken, you want to tell people what that is? Because that really could be a game changer. I know their current A9 III only has 24 megapixels, but still the idea of a global shutter with instant readout is a great idea.
Yeah. So global shutter, it's what I see. That's going to be the next iteration. What we'll start seeing in drones even is that fast, almost instantaneous readout. Our cameras right now, most of our cameras have rolling shutters. And when you're trying to do anything sort of fast paced and you're moving left to right, you'll notice you'll get like, it almost looks like Gumby, like everything starts flexing.
Right.
Certain cameras experience that worse than others, but on drones specifically, you can even get that with the Mavic.
Yeah.
If you move a Mavic too quick or pivot around too crazy, you'll start seeing the bending because the readout isn't fast enough to keep everything vertically straight, I guess the best way to put it.
Right.
So the global shutter that they're adding for sports photography, I mean, it literally is instantaneous. And I've heard so many people say that the A9 will ruin the A9 III will ruin your experience of a camera.
of a camera.
So much so, I'm selling my Sony A1. I'm selling my Sony A1 because I don't use it that much. I'd rather have something with a global shutter.
Yeah.
You know, for the readouts and be able to do things a little differently for what I do in real estate.
Yeah.
And the digital shutter that it has is even faster. You don't get banding anymore. So that's a big thing. Not having the banding that you get with the rolling shutter is another big benefit.
And it's so prevalent in skies or large areas of solid color.
Yes.
And it can definitely ruin a shot for you.
Absolutely. You won't get that banding that you see in a lot of shots. So rolling shutter versus global shutter is huge. Not to mention just like if, you're doing mapping, that's another thing. You can go faster with a global shutter than you could with a rolling shutter. So
more accurate.
A lot of benefit there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's the layman's answer, I guess.
That's great. I wanted you to do that because I know there's a lot of laymen that cross your paths. So you explain it to them very well on your channel. So that's why I wanted you to explain. That Sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought there'd be more of that, but maybe you're right. NAB is the place to go to more with the cameras. Yeah. And although 24 megapixel isn't great, it's certainly a great starting point.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, last year at CES, I was able to interview Max, the son of the founder and the president, and I was able to, I said, I'm from Old Farts with Drones and I want to interview somebody about your new product. And they sent me over this guy and I had no idea who he was. I thought, oh, this is some PR kid they sent over.
Yeah, but the thing about Autel, it's like, fuck Autel for one. I mean, just quite frankly,
there goes the PG rating.
Just honestly, screw them. Just in general, they've dropped the ball. They're another company.
They really have.
They're basically dropping complete consumer support. They don't give a shit about the people that bought something. Every time you've bought something, they've literally created another product of the same design, the same identical nature, just a new modem, a new processor, and then drop support for the previous, completely screwing over their consumers. You know, there was a time where I supported Alltel, but if somebody asked me whether I what would I buy? I would never buy Alltel. I don't care. Geofencing is not enough of a reason. They've already shown their cards that they're going to start implementing geofencing. A matter of fact, if you look at some of their most recent updates where that geofencing applies to, a lot of it is overseas, China, Taiwan.
Right.
Very interesting. If you start following and you start connecting the dots, you'll start seeing a lot of oddities with the way they're implementing and rolling out that geofencing.
There was just a press release just now of
Geofencing
that.
is in the news right now because DJI turned around and said enough is enough, I think. And it's basically, you know, they're dropping their geofencing in lieu of low, you know.
But it's not happening in the areas that you wouldn't expect it. And a lot of it is, like I said, it's overseas. Start connecting the dots.
Yeah,
watch
connect the dots.
6 months down from the road, this conversation that we're having will make a lot more sense as temperatures start flaring. But I think that we'll start seeing and realize why they did what they did. But Alltel as a whole, they're scumbags.
Yeah,
they're scumbags. They 100% pretended to be one thing and they didn't care. And that shows with those military strategist drones they have now, the Titan.
Well, it was pretty earth-shattering to see bombs coming out of the bottom of them. You know, this what they showed me is this is the whiz-bang drone for police departments.
I would hate to see police departments stop
start
dropping ordnance.
The problem is that Alltel's never really, they've never, and Vic says it best, Alltel has not injected themselves in any of the anti-Chinese rhetoric here in the States. They've never done anything to combat. All of the funding to fight for the rights of consumers have come from DJI. DJI has done the most. Obviously, they have the most to lose, but Alltel does have a market share when it comes to consumer products in the US, but they've done absolutely nothing positive for the market here. They've done nothing, no PR, nothing. No. I mean, for God's sakes, they can't even spell check their own freaking marketing. So,
you know, that's so telling too.
It's
you know, right away when I see that coming from a manufacturer, I start to question the depth of that company.
It's just bad.
You don't
it's
have
just
a
bad.
reader anyway with it.
They've gone through if you look at their list of employees, like it's been a revolving door over the past, I would say, 3 years. Randall, John McBride's now a contractor for them, still working for them, but not working for them.
Yeah.
To me, that's still offsetting. Telling. You know,
it's telling.
And a lot of it is, you know, again, being on this side, I see the problems. And I give them maybe another 2 years before they're completely out of the consumer sector. Completely.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already transitioned that way. The Evo series, the Evo 2, the Evo Lite, that's it. That's all you're going to see for consumers.
And, you know, that it's a tough break for the people who drop real money on these things. Okay. And we're not talking about, you know, people with boundless resources. We're talking about us, you know, who might have invested in one of those.
You know,
now you have little to no support.
Drones, you know,
little to no support.
I've enjoyed the images I'm getting out of my Alltels, but I won't be without a DJI because DJI does certain things much better. And my biggest qualm with DJI has always been the geofencing. And I'm glad because I think they did it so they could basically kiss up to governments at every level, especially in our part of the world.
Well, they had to.
And they didn't have to. There was no law, but it was a good strategy, and it didn't pay off.
From a corporate policy standpoint, because
it didn't pay off for them.
Liability and make them look more friendly to the governments.
Right, and I will be very much against Autel if they implement it here because there's no other product on earth that you need to ask the manufacturer. May I use this? Can I drive my Ford Focus down this road? Let me try
to be fair, though, we're talking about something that, you know, operates in a three-dimensional space.
Yeah.
So I think that plays in part because I get asked all the time from clients, can you do this? Can you do that? And what they're asking me to essentially do is to break the law or put myself in a position where, you know, it's going to cause a stoppage of an airliner because they're going to be like, why is this drone?
Yeah, exactly.
Here?
And coming from the public safety world, it's very necessary. I mean, we have, Jeff, you're New York City 5 boroughs, okay? You know yourself. Okay, when we would operate in the canyons of Manhattan, and someone else was in our space, you know, it was impossible to deconflict. And then we had to stop operations, not them. We'd have to stop operations
because you have an obligation to stay safe. Any coconut that decides just to see, but there's laws, and it should be between you, your conscience, and the law. But in certain places, like I don't think any drone should be able to fly near a nuclear power plant at all, even though it's physically impossible to hurt a nuclear power plant.
You're talking old farts.
Jeff, dumbasses don't apply logic. Dumbasses don't apply logic. We see this over and over and over again. And what happens when you don't have geofences? You have some stupid schmuck diving down the nation's capital, which personally, I still find that is more of a detriment than the issue where a drone and a chopper colliding. Because that is a probability. That is an accident.
Yes.
But you're doing something maliciously. And to me, I look at it as like, well, wow, you were able to get that close to a monument within one of the most secure places in the nation.
We're talking about the entire area being an NFC.
All of Washington, D.C.
Launching a drone, like, from anywhere near the White House, and you're doing 90 miles an hour with this thing. You're going to tell me one of these people could shoot that down? There's no way. There's no way.
Except for the rail guns on top of the White House. But
they got rail guns there?
But then again, what about all the rest of the projectiles? I did see your video on it, Ken, and I totally agree with you. And I wonder, do we have extradition treaties with Canada? Because that guy should be paying a price for that, because he just gave a lot of people ideas that have no business doing anything close to that. Stand on the ground, take a picture with your camera. My God.
Here's the other problem. The dumbasses come out of the woodwork, because once we mention how egregious it was, we all become labeled as the drone police. No, we want to be able to fly, and a lot of people want to be able to earn. Yes. And you're taking that ability away from us step by step.
Right.
You know, I remember going to boot camp in the Navy, and one idiot would do something, and 50 of us at 3:30 in the morning would now doing push-ups. Okay. Because that's how the world works. So we do have to police ourselves to a large extent. Okay. You know, our ID, to me, it's not a bad thing. We all have license plates on our cars. Okay. Just do me a favor. Don't give Karen my home address. You know, so we do have to be vocal in this environment. We have to get it out there. We have to say, hey, what's the proper way to act when you're. I remember being an early adopter of drones. My buddy came to me and he said, hey, I just got my Phantom 2, and I got that thing up to 3,500 feet. And I go, we're in Flushing Meadows Park. We're on approach. Okay. We're final to base in this, what they call a FRIA now, right? Yeah. In Flushing Meadows. And he's flying at 3,500 feet. You know, this is the stuff that could it impact, you know, at that point in time, it was a 727 coming in. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yes. In the wrong place. Absolutely. So we do have to police ourselves to some degree.
Yeah, I agree. I still want to extradite that guy from Canada.
You know, I certainly, you know, but the idea that you were just talking about losing business, small business operators here, we have that too has been my mission here. I have been able to talk to now 3 of my Washington representatives about drones, about Chinese drones, and about small businesses, you know, hinged on Chinese drones. So, I mean, this is, you know, truly, you know, and I truly believe that they don't have a clue that they're going to take, you know, thousands of freelance, maybe hundreds of thousands of freelance drone pilots who are doing jobs for real estates and roofs and foundations and stuff like that, and take us out of business.
Yeah, see, one thing that just came out of this, and one point I want to make about the accident between the helicopter and the drone is, you know, a lot of people are coming out saying, He should have had a VO. He should have had a VO. Look, the majority of drone businesses are small, one operator businesses. Okay. If the FAA mandates that you can't operate that business without a VO, there's a great number of businesses that are
in
wind
that
up
instance
going out.
He didn't need a VO there. He didn't need a VO. I mean, it wasn't line of sight. It sounded like an honest to goodness accident. And
he had,
and this is my thought.
He
of
also
why
had
it happened.
advanced authorization.
Right. He had advanced authorization.
He did everything he
You're
needed to do.
Flying near an airport. He knows there's an airport there.
Yeah.
There's these tour choppers coming in and out. So you hear it often.
Right.
And, you know, I think after you hear it so many times, you're probably like, you're a little bit numb to it and you don't react because you're like, oh, they're not coming my way.
Yeah.
Right.
You glance down for a second and wham, that's all it takes for you to have
Jeff
a collision.
understands sirens going back and forth in New York City.
I get that way too. I get numb. Like,
you
know, I'm flying near a Class D airspace and these choppers coming in and out. And, you know, I'm like, I made the decision not to fly there because it was busy. They were coming over the house several times. So it's just a judgment call.
Yeah.
With him, he's scanning this particular construction site. That can happen.
Mhm.
The sad thing is they're still going to find that the remote pilot is still at fault
Because
because
we have
that's
a
just
mandate.
right.
We have a
To-
mandate to avoid
Correct.
manned aviation.
aircraft.
We have to give way. So no matter what the case is, no matter if it was just a luck of the situation, it will always be that the remote pilot will be at fault.
Right.
In most instances.
So, you know, coming from a Part 61 world, one of the things that I've heard a lot of people say is, oh, you know, they're so dramatic in the manned industry, you know, $60,000 for a rotor. Well, guess what? You can't, on a registered aircraft, take that rotor off and buff it out. Okay? That's the way, you know, that's why
air travel is so safe because they're replacing things. They're not taking that chance.
The FAA has been around since I was born, okay, 1958. And whole part. So I did qualify, by the way. But they've kept our airspace safe. So we have to understand we are operating in that 3D environment. And things are very expensive on aircraft. Okay. Unless you have an uncertified light sport aircraft, you can't make modifications. And doing anything to that rotor blade would be a modification. So it's basically a replacement at this point. So that's where that $60,000 comes into play.
It's a big number because it's probably a $2,000 part, but you have to make sure the people that take it off are insured and trained, and it becomes this $60,000 thing. And as we all know, we all drive. You don't look out your front window every second that you're driving. You have to look in your rear view mirror and your side view mirrors. Yeah. So if something jumps in front of you when you're looking at your side view mirror, you're really violating the spirit of the law. You know, I think this drone pilot, unfortunately, will have some financial obligation.
Yeah, he's going to
be fined.
And hoping that he's running a business.
He'll probably have to buy that.
Okay,
blade.
hopefully it's an LLC or an S corp, and hopefully he has insurance. Yes. As Vic just pointed out in the chat, you know, not only do they have to replace the rotor blade, they have to do a tear down of the engine because there was an impact. Okay, so that these are things the FAA mandates, and not just the FAA. The manufacturer, Robson, is going to mandate that these are the following steps that have to take place to recertify that aircraft. Yeah. And remember, the company that operates that aircraft is losing money because that aircraft is now in a non-flyable condition.
Right. But the pilot was below where he should have been at that point. But
we're
always at fault.
Not necessarily with helicopters. But you know what? The NTSB and the FAA will issue a final report. And it's not uncommon for the FAA to find fault with manned pilots. But in this case,
they also may say, hey, there was a notum of a no fly. There's a drone in this area.
Which is supposed to
disregard. You disregard. They may find, you know, that there's nobody at fault.
Yeah.
They may
make it a wash.
They may wash. It may cancel out. But again, that's up to them to decide that. If all the, you know, everything was done appropriately, but here's where I think they will side with the fact that it's the remote pilot's fault. is that he openly admitted that he looked down at his RC for even a split second, and according to the eyes of the FAA, that's admitted like fault in itself, and you know what I mean.
It's
like,
easy to pin.
It's easy to pin it back on him.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
If it was me, I wouldn't have said. I'd be like, "Hey, I'm flying. This chopper came out of nowhere." Wham.
Yeah, because the closing speed was so great.
It was exactly
that he didn't have time to react.
You never admit.
And as a man pilot, you have search tools available to you to search an area for NOTAMs, okay?
Yeah.
Which you'll have a responsibility to do before operating the aircraft.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay? So we'll see what the final reports come out as.
It will be reported here on Old Farts and Drones,
definitely
okay?
will. And it will be reported all over the UK and all over Europe and all over
I'm sure.
okay? And Ken will make some more friends.
I'm trying not to do that because I keep making enemies overseas.
Ken will make some more friends.
I'm seriously, I think we need to publicize the punishment that these guys who are flying over football games and maliciously flying drones like this.
Yeah.
I really believe that that's going to do much more detriment to the drone hobby than anything else. So I think making that extremely public that, if you go down to Walmart and buy a drone, you can't go fly it over the football game. I mean, it's, somehow we need to get that message that nobody doesn't know that.
And just for everybody's education here, helicopters, and I think Vic pointed it out too, helicopters don't have minimums.
No.
Except in certain specific areas. Okay? And they're well published in those areas. But this area did not have a minimum. In fact, he was coming in to his base. Okay? He was returning from what I've read to his takeoff location, which the only way you get there is by coming down. So, it was we'll unfortunately put it as a comedy of errors, but we'll see what the FAA and the NTSB rule on this.
I don't know. So anyway, yesterday I did get to go to see some booths and got to hang out with Mr. Dono here for a little while, and we went to, what was that fortune teller thing?
Oh, that was SK. We went to SK.
SK's had a fortune telling thing. We went to an electronic Zoltar.
Electronic Zoltar. That actually, I mean, that was actually pretty accurate.
I'm a hermit, it said. What are you?
Really?
It said that I would have to work harder this year because I'm managing new contracts or something, which is not untrue. So
interesting.
And you don't work hard enough.
Interesting.
No.
Come on, a little more effort there, Ken.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I'm going to leave the show to these two guys and figure out why the dog's barking.
Bob's alarm system.
The alarm system is going off. So if anybody, there's the chat right there.
Okay.
If you want to, anybody want to ask Ken or Tom any questions, hit the chat.
I thought Ken was sick of live streams, but apparently you're not getting away so easily.
Well, personally, he bamboozled me.
He did.
Did
he? He bamboozled me. I'm a person that usually can't necessarily say no, but Bob's policy is I'm just gonna say you're coming, and then you'll come.
People don't realize how sweet this guy is. Okay,
he's a very nice guy. I know. He's got this persona when he does his live streams. He's a tough guy, but when it comes down to it, he's one of the people that those that know him for a long time can actually depend on him.
Look, I just want to know how you're talking Lon off the edge here, because Lon didn't get to. I mean, you substituted Lon with your wife. What's going on here?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
But you just celebrated an anniversary.
I mean, well, no, it's our anniversary is in March, but I'm bulking this together.
Yeah.
So
it works best that way. Yeah.
I mean, when I weigh out the pros and cons, of why I brought her over Lon is, I mean, obviously, number one, I can't have sex with Lon. So if you're going to Vegas,
there's been discussions in the chat about that, but we won't go into the detail.
But you can't do that.
No, right.
Number two, piggybacks off for number one. It is still cheaper than a hooker.
Yeah.
Although it does have long-term effects.
Yes.
And number three, she does slow me down, because then it forces me to look, like I said, we did all these massage chairs, and I got a bag of stuff that
you got
I would never, I would never stop and even talk
Right.
to half these people, but talking to them, they're like, "Oh yeah, let's here, take this." So
Well, it's funny because we're watching the news, this local news here this morning, and they're showing this underwater scooter. What does my wife pick up on? Oh, they have starbursts.
oh yeah,
Yeah, they have starbursts. Okay, so it's just like when we used to go to B&H.
Yeah,
my wife would walk out with a bag of candy. Okay, I was trying to figure out why she let me walk around so long in B&H, because that's deadly, B&H. And Jeff, you know that, because you walk around with one receipt, hand it to a salesman, they show you something, they hand you a brand new receipt that's even longer. But the wife would walk out with all the candy.
I think the best part of the show though has been over at the Venetian Convention Center. So if I would have known that, I probably would have went there yesterday. That's where the 3D printing is. That's where a lot of the stuff in the house. Like Amazon has a ridiculous booth this year, which they always do, but this year it's really
it's
good.
for those of these that don't know, it's spread out across several different venues.
Yeah, it's not just in one place. It used
And then
to be
of course you
pretty
can take
centralized.
the Tesla
And,
through the tunnel to get from one to the other.
We didn't do the Tesla. I'm going to. We're actually. I got to go back. We're going to go to the Sphere. We're doing the show today.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I figure I've been out here 2 times since it's been open. I'm like, let's go check it out and see what it's about.
Sphere,
so
the Sphere is awesome.
Should be cool.
Yeah, we've done that.
It's the
We have
latest
friends coming for
attraction in
YouTube.
Las Vegas here.
I can't believe how
And,
much money it's lost though.
Yeah,
It's lost a
it's,
shit ton of money.
But the thing is, right now it's a lost lead, right? So it's, I think over time, I mean, when you see a show in there, phenomenal. I mean, the sound, the visuals, unbelievable. The thing though is that you got to be very careful going up and down the stairs there, because they are so damn steep. And if you don't read the sign, I'm watching these people. We were sitting pretty high up, and we saw, it was our section, but it was only rows 1 through 10. But we were in row 18. So I said, the wife goes, "Oh, we come in here." I go, "No, I think we go up a little higher." And thank God we did. We only had to come down 2 rows. You had to see it looked like they were mountain climbing. They should actually put safety lines in for these people. That's how steep it is.
Wow.
My youngest went to the University of Florida, and when I was there, they redid the arena, and it went from this to this, because you can get more people in the same physical space, and that's where all these new venues are.
T-Mobile for the hockey games here, my wife won't go if we got to sit in the balcony. She says, "I just get too nauseous. I can't do it." But speaking of the Knights, we need everyone's encouragement tonight here. Everybody, please repeat after me.
Yeah.
Go Knights, go! All
Knights,
right.
go. See, I have to
play tonight.
7:00.
And Jeff will understand this. I've been a Ranger fan my whole life, but I have to wait every 40 years for a Stanley Cup. Okay.
Well, you're a freaking Vegas resident now, so
now, hey, and my Islander friends I never liked anyway. So I'm a Golden Knights fan now, and actually more so, I'm a Silver Knights fan.
Silver Knights.
So we have their farm team is like in my neighborhood at the beautiful Dollar Loan Center. And
Arena.
we had a great time. we go there for
a
the minor league
short-term
games.
loan company they have built the arena.
Yeah,
amazing. It's
don't take short-term loans when you're here in Vegas. It never pays off. I'm going to tell you that right now. Okay.
I went to the hockey facility in Florida. I think it's Sunrise. I was really impressed with that facility. I haven't been to Vegas yet.
Where the Panthers play?
Oh my gosh, is that impressive? I mean, I see the Garden, I see the Coliseum, I see UBS, I see in New Jersey, and this thing was awesome in Florida. Really a very well done facility.
Madison Square Garden has already seen its day. It needs to be replaced.
That's who owned the Sphere.
Oh yeah. Dolan.
It's all part of MSG.
They owned it.
And they plan to build these all over the world, by the way.
This one was they were in over budget by $1.2 billion. That was over budget.
Over budget. 1.2 billion.
Don't you worry about the Sphere not making money. Everything in Vegas eventually makes money because
it eventually makes money.
Well,
it eventually makes money.
It takes a little bit, but
sure does. But the outside is the Sphere. I mean, when they had the NBA
All-Star game
and then the tournament, it was a basketball, Halloween, it was Jacqueline, and it's just amazing looking. What's really hilarious, if you're playing the back nine behind the wind,
Yeah.
and
The old
you
Desert
really,
Inn golf course.
you really chip that shot,
Yes.
it might be an emoji that comes up giving you a frown. It's hysterical. It really is.
It is amazing.
You want to get to
Gentlemen, I've only heard hearsay,
we-
but tell
we
me
don't-
about flying near the sphere. What's the rules? What's the practicality?
We have a member here in Las Vegas who has multiple times gotten permission to fly. He has gotten multiple people's cell phone numbers at the Las Vegas Tower. He now has multiple month waivers
Right.
to fly on the Strip. And
the
on
Strip is zero grid, folks. The
you
Strip
know,
is zero
it's
grid.
but
But
he has
Vic also has flown.
right.
the
Vic
Strip.
Vic
Yeah.
has flown standing in front of the Bellagio fountains.
Right.
And you know, so anyway, it is possible, and I
Take
want to
care,
tell
Vic.
people it's possible,
Vic's jumping
and
off.
it just takes, you have to jump through a lot of hoops.
Not true. Not true. I see people fly on the Strip all day long. There was 3 or 4 people I was walking past. They were high as fuck. So you can fly
Oh,
out
yeah.
as
Oh,
much
yeah.
as
Well,
you
yes,
want.
yes.
Of course.
Just
Yeah.
take a walk down the Strip and breathe. You'll be able to fly.
All forms of marijuana are legal
Well,
in
they
Las
are
Vegas,
because
okay?
of that. They are now opening up consumption lounges, so you can be a little more comfortable.
But,
okay?
you can get permission to
yeah.
fly on the Strip.
So
It's a multiple step process.
it's a multiple step process. One thing you have to realize is counter UAS is extremely, extremely strong around the Strip. Okay.
They know you're there.
There are several entities with counter UAS, and there's a police unit called Fusion that within a minute or two of you launching, you're likely
They'll
to
be
have
there.
an RMP or a radio
Yes.
motor patrol vehicle right at your location. In
Mhm.
fact, there was one that happened during F1. He
Yep.
launched, okay,
Uh-huh.
and it was, I think, 97 seconds
Before we
Fusion unit
had an officer
came up and said, "Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Are you flying that drone?" And the guy was like, "Yeah. Oh, could you land that and come with us?" Okay.
So
So,
what ended up happening with that guy?
he got fined.
Fine.
You got fined.
He got fined. And it wasn't waiting for FAA to send him 100 letters and get around to saying, "Oh, let's use it for education." Fusion is a law enforcement entity, and they fined him. And there's several things.
So what did they find him dollar-wise?
I thought it was 1,500.
Was it?
I
Is that
thought it was
something?
1,500.
Wasn't
Fuck.
Okay.
it'd be worth it to get the shot.
But it's not just that.
Well,
now,
if they take your drone, they're
now,
like, hey.
well, at 1,500 plus maybe.
Yeah.
It could have been the
I
aircraft
don't
also.
know.
But remember, now he's in the system. Okay.
Yeah.
So make
Yeah.
a mistake once.
Hey, you're
You
not
don't
making
get that-
another mistake.
And
You know,
it's not going to be
no
the
more
same dollar
grace.
amount next time around.
That is definitely a
Anyway.
disincentive to fly, but I will tell you, about 11 months ago, I went to Rome. I brought my drone, and in certain parts of the EU, I have an
Where did
EU
you bring your
license,
drone
but
to, Jeff?
Rome.
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 No, I just want to hear him say it one more time because it rhymes.
Okay.
I brought the drone, and in certain
where?
countries, you have to have a
Right, right, right.
additional liability policy. I didn't hear you because I was talking. There's a little delay.
I know. Yeah. I just wanted
We're
to hear you say
giving
it.
you shit.
You making fun of my Long Island accent?
Yeah.
He's
All
on Long
right.
Island.
Listen,
From Long
Spring
Island.
Hill, get out of here.
Yeah, we don't use all the consonants. We use most of them.
We
Not
use
all,
most
huh?
of them. There's enough to get the message by.
Exactly.
No.
So around the Coliseum, around this beautiful structure, like the monument to the fatherland of Italy,
Yeah.
there are signs, and it says, "This is a no drone zone. You can be fined up to 516 euros." How they came up with that number, I have no idea. Plus 2 years in prison with a guy named Vito, and that was the thing that stopped me. I did not want to spend 2 years in prison in Rome.
Oh.
560 euros, maybe, but no, I didn't.
Your announcement.
Okay, so
Stay
it's time
grounded.
to make this announcement. We have now made a definite, solid decision, everyone. We will We are going to have a Las Vegas drone meetup associated with Old Farts with Drones. And we don't have a definite catchy name yet, but we will shortly.
Don't lose it in Vegas.
Don't lose it in Vegas. Might be it. Okay.
Flying high in Vegas.
Flying high in Vegas.
I mean, you got a lot of ways you can go. You got marketing opportunities out
Nothing
here.
but marketing opportunities, right?
We will, I want everyone to mark your calendars. We've settled on dates. It is November 8th, 9th, and 10th. Okay. It will be somewhere in Las Vegas or Henderson.
Right.
And it will be, we'll probably have 3 days of some sort of different activities going on. And we will have more details as soon as we actually have them. But Tom and I are going to be the co-coordinators of the event, and we're establishing a committee of a group of other Las Vegas flyers and a few outsiders here that are going to help us put this thing together. And I want to thank Kelly Shores. I know that he said he wasn't going to put something together this coming fall, and I communicated with him, and he gave our blessing here. So we're gonna move forward.
I think I'm skipping the South Florida meetup.
No.
To go to the Vegas.
No, Ray. No, Ray.
No, I'm just
He'll
joking.
be
Ray.
there. He'll be there.
One thing I know you won't be doing is giving away expensive Autel drones at the South Florida meetup.
There might be a lot of
there might be a
Autel
lot of
drones.
them. They just might not be brand new.
You want mine?
Dear Ken, can you
What's the
teach
nice
me
thing
how to
about this
fly?
is, Veterans Day is on November 11th, so this really does stretch out for some people to be a 3-day
They can
weekend.
have a 3-4 day
And
time
when
in
are
Las
you doing
Vegas.
this? What was the dates? That
November
November
8th,
8th.
9th, and 10th.
So
8, 9, and 10.
Let me go to the calendar here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're working out the logistics.
That's a weekend. That's perfect too.
Yeah.
It's we're looking at either being on the east side of the valley or the west side
What
of the
about
valley.
the M Resort?
You know what? We're
That's
not
me.
far from there, but there's
We've talked
brand
about
new
it.
Durango Hotel Stations Casino.
Durango expensive though.
Well, again, the
We
good thing
may
here
be
is
able to work
I
something.
hope she figures something out.
Yeah.
Mrs. Old Farts with Drones, okay, is a travel agent.
She has been putting meeting like
But
this together.
She's
for
not just a
a
travel
few
agent.
decades.
She actually travels in all the high circles here
She's a
in
mobster.
Vegas, and she has hooks. So
We-
we're trying to
we're
get
gonna-
all that worked out.
We're going to look for some help here.
And then we have some awesome venues already as far as places to fly into. Whether it's Seven Magic Mountain at sunrise
That'd be good.
to get rid of the crowds. The Jean Dry Lake Bed, which is a fave of mine. Red Rock Canyon, we're not
Hit or
going to
miss.
take the group into Red Rock Canyon because
from
we
the
don't want
outside.
50
Yeah.
people all launching drones
If they-
because Bob and I might never be able to fly there again.
Yeah.
But we will hit different spots.
There's multiple areas
so many spots.
around Red Rock.
And-
there's Calico Basin.
You can even
and
take
there's,
more Wheel of Misfortune.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. With
That's
hazmat
gonna go
suits.
Oh, they're taking it down.
It's
They're
going
going to
away.
redevelop that
there-
area.
Somebody's
Yeah.
redeveloping
Hey,
Three Kids Mind.
Fly it before you.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, well, if it's
So-
still there by November.
So the one thing I
Well,
have to say, being from the East Coast, coming out here,
yes.
there is I haven't seen more spectacular sunrises or sunsets than I have out here. And so it is a target rich environment.
Yep.
And look, and bring your pocket
Money.
threes with you. Bring your action cams with you
Yeah.
because remember, we won't be flying anywhere along the strip, but there's so much to see and do there, whether it's the Sphere, the High Roller. The High Roller is a 45-minute ride, which will put you at a very high vantage point to see the entire strip. So there's a lot of other things to do here besides that. And, so we were looking at Durango. We were looking at Green Station, which isn't
Green Valley.
right,
Station.
Green Valley
Uh-huh.
on the other side. And the M is in my
Possible.
backyard.
Whoever
basically.
gives you the best, it's
Yeah,
all about the best rate.
No,
It's
we're-
about getting the
combinations.
best block, discount, we can.
We're leaving that up to Audrey. Audrey is has done this for a number of large organizations.
Yeah,
I'll make a trip.
And
I love Vegas.
a number of large organizations. She's done this multiple times.
Right.
We're booking, 100 to 200 rooms. She's currently booking hundreds of rooms for a organization right now on Virgin Cruises for having their meetup on a cruise.
Yeah.
So
is that for Vegas, Matt?
No,
Oh.
no, it's a women entrepreneur council thing, kind of thing. But anyway, so Audrey knows what she's doing, and she knows how to negotiate.
Right. And we've just provided everybody with an excuse to come to Vegas. Okay,
Guys,
I spoke to.
rent the Sphere.
I think
Rent
Eddie's in
the
the chat.
Sphere. Rent the Sphere.
Add the Sphere.
Sphere would be cool. That definitely not flying.
Not
no.
flying it. Not flying it.
Inside.
there.
It
Inside.
may be possible to put
Inside.
together a small group of people who got correct clearance from the FAA, the Fusion,
again,
and there will be a
We'll be
multi-step
posting.
process.
Right. We'll be posting help sheets on how to go through that whole process. Okay.
And Tom will
You're
give
not
you
going to fly off of my advanced authorization or
No.
anybody else's. You would have to secure all of that.
yeah.
But like I said, I
It's
spoke
possible.
to Eddie already. Eddie already has his excuse all ready to go. And
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Eddie's got his excuse already.
Eddie said, yeah, that November's a
I
perfect
will.
time.
You know what?
So-
If Eddie comes, I will put whatever I have in my account on black. If Eddie comes,
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
because that's how much I don't believe him. I don't believe him. I'll put it. I'll let it all right on black.
Well, that's one. I don't know if it's going to be one last Puerto Rico trip or Dominican Republic trip, but he's committed.
I don't know.
So,
The guy's got more PTO you shake a stick at.
I know, but
I don't
we'll get him out here. We'll get him out.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
So I just want to open that up and let everyone know that, mark your calendars, plan your dates. We will have a hotel lined up. We're working on transportation. There may be a fee, obviously, for transportation because obviously most people are going to fly here. And so if we have to rent a couple buses to
We're looking
move
into the
people
logistics
around,
right now.
we will have some fees involved there.
Now we do have
you
we do have a good crowd coming from the California
A
area.
lot of people
Aldrin is
drive.
coming in,
Yeah.
and Dre
Yeah.
from
Aldrin
Recovery
gave me
Drones
his
already
commitment
said he
yesterday.
counts him in.
Yeah.
Al
Dre's
Diaz, we'll
in.
probably get Al Diaz in here. There's a whole group of people, from Texas on west.
Yeah.
Some of those people might drive in, or they might RV in. We'll be providing more information on alternate places to stay.
Tom will let you park
things
your
like
RV in his driveway.
Yeah,
okay?
good try with that.
Yeah.
I'll let my HOA know now. Okay, there are various locations around the area.
So,
for RVs, and we'll provide
this
that information as
Old
well.
Farts in Vegas, whatever we're going to call it. I mean, I think we're going to have a great time. I think we are definitely brothers with South Florida and with Spin Up
Absolutely.
and with Minefield, and we certainly don't want to compete or do anything in any negative fashion with
But
anybody
we are
else
a
promoting.
destination location.
But we got
Okay,
the fortune
we are
of
a
living
destination
in Las
location.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Did you want some water?
No, I was just drinking your coffee.
He's doing some branding there. He's doing some branding.
Wait a minute.
Subliminal branding.
We can find some. Here, you want to drink from this cup?
I don't know. You may.
I think a bunch of us already have. Okay?
We've all drunk from this cup.
That's right. That's right.
B-Mac's off my favorite list right now.
Yes. All right, guys. I think that's going to wrap her up. I really appreciate everything. We've had a great show. I didn't get you to show you my few clips from CES. I don't know.
Don't spoil your video.
No,
They'll have to tune in to watch it.
they'll have to come back and watch it. Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be posted. Okay.
Next Wednesday, definitely there should be some great clips up
Okay.
there
From CES.
From CES, so definitely come on back.
Okay, I flew a drone at CES. Okay, and I flew the drone soccer.
Oh yeah, I
thing.
saw those.
I went into the drone. They let me in the
Cage.
whatever you call the netting there, and I put it through the hoop 3 times.
Nice, good for you.
Hey,
Bob.
You know, you know.
At least you can still drive.
All right. Thank you all.
Thanks
We'll see you
everyone in the
soon.
chat.
Thank you very much. Thanks, the chat. Can you hit that red button there at the bottom where
Which
it says leave studio
All
right there?
Yep. All right.
Oh, no, up there
Okay,
it says
that
end,
one.
end
Okay,
stream.
folks.
All right, it's over.
End stream.
Yep, it's
no,
on.
no, I think we're still on.
No, I don't think so. I clicked the button.
You did?
Yeah, it's
okay.
on.
No, don't see,
yeah,
this
that
is-
one. No.
This is where the
other
trust
What happened?
value
What
starts
happened,
to go
Bob?
down.
No, it doesn't,
Okay.
Tom. I clicked the button. It's off.
Only because this is the
Wait.
maven of technology sitting
Yes.
here.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
So
Of
I
course.
can't pick my nose.
Push
now?
the
I
button.
mean,
No.
I can't. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna really press the button. All right. So, okay. I see. There's.
Oh, now you got to
confirmation.
press another one.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Really?
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys.